In this video, we're going to take a look at both, in this video, we'll take a look at PPP and Multilink PPP and just getting it operational. So we'll have just one link and then we'll bond them together to make them two links, so that we'll have that. That's the addressing scheme that we're going to work with. So 13 for the top one, 31 for the bottom, and then we'll combine them, make it 133 or something like that. And then in the following video, we'll do a PPPoE. Depending on how long it takes me to do this, if I get it running in like 10-15 minutes, I might just do PPPoE just to get it knocked out. It's actually very, very straightforward. It's just a matter of setting it up the right way. And then from there on out, all the additional videos that we're going to be recording and going through is going to be pretty much dedicated to MPLS, DMVPN, BGP, and some other stuff. So we'll have that's what I plan on working on, just to get things operational, because I really want to focus on those areas. I don't really need to do a whole lot with OSPF or EIGRP or RIP, so I've pretty much got those guys down pat. I want to focus on the areas that I'm not as strong in, which is going to be MPLS, DMVPN, multicast, and so DMVPN, multicast, MPLS, parts of BGP, just so we can get some stuff operational. So out of the gate here, what we're going to do is I insert a slot into router 1, and I also inserted a slot into router 3. So I'm going to pull these guys both up here and go side by side. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to global config here, and we're going to type in interface serial 2/0. We're going to type in IP address is going to be 13.1.1.1 and 24-bit mask, and then the same thing for /1 is going to be the same thing but a 31. And then we're just going to copy and paste that information in over. Let's show run interface serial 2/0 and 2/1. So I'm just going to copy and paste, well, if I did a no shut, huh? Interface serial 2/0, no shut, and do that. So we're just going to jump on router 3, type in interface serial 2/0, and we'll type in IP address is going to be 13.1.1.3, no shut, and we'll flip back over. This will be 31. No shut. And that's all we have to do. So now we're just going to type in cap PPP on both ends. That's all there really is to it to get PPP operational. And then once it goes through its negotiation, as you can see, it's up. So we'll type in do show run interface serial 2/1. The encap is PPP. If we do a do show interface serial 2/1, it'll say the same thing. It'll say encap is PPP. So there you have it. So that's all there really is to it. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to bond these guys together. Now, by default, it goes down to a 1544 kilobit, which means it's a T1. So we're going to take this and make it a T2. We're going to make it a bonded T2, bonded T1s. So this is typical of older style configurations. So the first thing we have to do is we have to actually get out of here. We have to type in interface multilink 1 question mark, and hit, I don't think you can do a sub interface. No, you can't. Enter, and then what you're gonna do then is you're going to obviously you're gonna be able to do a lot with that. So you're gonna type in I'm trying to remember the is it member? No, it is. I think you have to go underneath the individual interface. So interface serial 2/1. Actually, let's do this. We'll type in IP address is going to be 133.1.1.1, 24-bit mask, and the same thing on this guy. Type interface multilink 1, interface multilink 1, IP address is 133.1.1.3, and alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to exit out of here, type in interface serial 2/0. We'll type in multilink or group member. It's something along those lines. I forget what the actual command is. Let's see here. It'll jump out at me when I see it. Or not. I forget what the command is, to be honest with you. Let's see here. You guys are like, it's XYZ. I'm like, yeah, I forgot. Underneath the interface, PPP, PPP, we have to turn it into encapsulation PPP. So we'll type it encap PPP. Do that on the same side here. Interface serial 2/1 encap PPP. Do the same thing on this side. Maybe that has something to do with it. PPP. Multilink. That's where multilink group is going to be 1, and the same thing. That was that guy. So we're going to type the same thing there. Do the same thing on that side. So we're going to type in interface. We'll type in PPP multilink group 1. And then that's how we do that. And now if we were to jump out of here and do a show IP interface brief, multilink group 1 is up. And we were to do a ping to 133.1.1.3, we should get across if we do a show interface multilink 1. If you look right here, we are 3088, which means we are 1544 combined. So that's basically how you do that. And then you can do your encapsulation, stuff like that, and your authentication, all other good stuff. So, I'm not going to go through any of that because that usually takes a long time. But the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at PPP. We're going to do PPP between R2 and 3 because it's global routing table. We're not going to have to deal with the VRF. However, I think it would be interesting to see PPPoE in a VRF. So we'll do that later on in the full scale and other labs. So I'm going to change the topology up a little bit. I'm not going to be using the topology that I've been using, just for the simple fact that I don't need to focus on. There's been a specific commands, and they'll come out more in detail when we get into traffic engineering and stuff like that. But a lot of the stuff I've covered already. I'm actually going to do a specific. We'll do protocol specific stuff that I know I haven't covered, or it's been a while since I have covered. So we'll do that. So that's pretty much that. Now we're going to focus on router 2 and router 3, and we're going to do a show run interface fast 1/0, and this guy should not be okay, and he's not in the global config. So type in interface fast 1/0, and we're going to pull up some configuration here in PPP. So the commands we're going to be using are right down here. And honestly, I can never remember what the commands are. So we're going to just do this like this. So basically, this is how we're going to do this. And this is how it's set up. We have the server config up top. We have the client config down here at the bottom. So server, client. So what we do is on the server, we go in here and we tell it that we're going to say enable, or we're going to say interface virtual template 1. So we're actually going to do this. We're going to start off with the server config first and bring this guy over so you guys can see this. And the reason I'm keeping up this up here is because every time I go to do this, I always goof it up somehow. So 3 will be the server, 2 will be the client. So what we're going to do is we're going to type in, we're going to exit out of here, we're going to type in interface virtual template 1. Type in IP address is going to be 10.1.23.3, and then the subnet mask. Okay, overlaps with. Oh, okay. Well, we'll just use a different range. We'll do say 223.3. So there we go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to exit out of here, and we're going to type in a BBA group. BBA group, we're going to say is going to be PPPoE, and then if you want to specify a word, you can, or you can say global. It doesn't matter which one you do as long as they map directly. So if you're going to type in PPPoE enable group name, it's going to have to map to this guy. So we're going to say global just for the kicks, and this guy hit enter, and then we go underneath this guy, and we end up having to say, okay, what are we going to do to get this to work? So you notice PPPoE here. We'll type in PPPoE. We're going to type in exit out of here, and we're going to say, that, and we're going to type in virtual template, and then the number of the virtual template, which is 1, which is what this says right here. So we're going to map this to this. Going to enter, and then we're going to type in interface virtual vert1, interface virtual template 1, and we're going to type in PPP Do we have to type in enable? Do we have to type the encapsulation first? Apply. Oh, I'm sorry. We have to go underneath the interface we're going to apply it to. So interface fast 1/0. I think that's what we're supposed to do. We'll type in PPPoE enable group and then global. Alright, so now that does that. So now we're going to jump out of here and do a show IP interface brief. And we had the virtual access 1 here, so virtual access 2 is here. And then we're going to go down to bring up router 2, which he's right there and hanging out doing his thing. And we're going to bring this guy down just a bit here. And we're going to go scroll down to this guy. Now this is the client configuration. A little bit different, but still pretty straightforward. So we'll type in interface dialer 1, and then the IP address is going to be 10.1.223.2, 24-bit mask. Type in cap is PPP, and dialer pool is going to be 1. And then we're going to type in interface fast 1/1. We're going to type in PPPoE enable and PPPoE dash client dial pool number 1. Alright, so that's going to bring that up. And so now if we jump out of here, and that's up. So that's a good sign. These are all good signs. And show IP interface brief. And so our guy is up. So that's up. So we're going to ping 10.1.223.3. I'm sorry. I get really excited because I've done this a bunch of times in the past, and it's like, why is it not working? So that goes to show you how it would actually work. It's actually very straightforward. So pretty straightforward for the most part, but it can be, tricky. So just so you guys know, when we get into the to the actual full, I don't want to say full-scale labs, but when we get into labbing CCIE technologies, I'll be throwing this stuff in there. I wanted to do a quick multi-link configuration simply for the fact that when you're doing this, it's one of those things where I don't know, I can't do this on the CSR 1000 Vs, so kind of at a loss when it comes to that. So, but beyond that, that's what's going on. So I have like a 20 router CSR 1000 V topology coming up that we're going to be taking a look at, and we're gonna get into that and see exactly how that all works. When we get into the labs, we'll actually go through the negotiation process. When we're on the client side, or I should say the server side, we'll configure authentication, we'll play with the other features and stuff like that, but not in this video. I just wanted to show you guys how it would actually work. So I'll go from there. So I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.